Hey everybody, it's Friday, Stoppage Time. I'm Lawrence Presman, the Prez, Carmine Bianco from Wagertalk.com, and Nick Boorman from SportsMemo.com joining us. Excited to have both of you. Let's start with you, Nick. How are you? How have you been?
I am doing great. I can't complain. Things are, boring, but I'm okay. Baby's okay. Everybody at home's doing fine, so no complaints on this side.
How old's the baby again? Months, right?
He will be 6 months in 2 days.
And what is his name, Nick?
Cayman, like the islands.
Spelt the same way?
Spelt the same way. Say Cayman.
That's beautiful, man. I bet you he's a little cute blondie.
He is, yeah. I was blonde when I was born, too, so mine's brown now. So we'll see what ends up happening. She's blonde. I don't know where he'll end up.
Okay, yes. Nick, on behalf of everybody watching the show and all people that have eyesight, you're still blonde. Carmine Bianco.
I am not blonde.
And nor were you ever. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Yesterday was a fun day. We got to do some rock, paper, scissors videos.
Oh my God! It was the best.
So for the people, who are watching this, Wagertalk will tweet out, but I will also tweet out a website where you can fill out a bracket and pick the winners of the rock, paper, scissors, and then the videos will appear on our YouTube channel here. You can win wager bucks. So I encourage you guys to fill them out. Make a little bit of money for sports is right around the corner. May 9th or May the 16th, German soccer, I believe. So right there, it's a lot of fun. Lawrence will tell you, the Prez will tell you. It was, and we're doing some more today. It was a lot.
It was a blast, man. I mean, Tony was especially excellent to watch. He didn't understand what beat what. Rock. He thought rock and scissors tie. And he showed up in a mohawk. But yeah, it was a laugh, dude. Ski was awesome. Barely said a word. And Missy hosted one of the shows. So shout out to Missy. Great job. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Stoppage Time. Jordan Kane, we love seeing you. Thanks so much. Guys, make sure to check out the 3 p.m. show today with Marco D'Angelo and Sig as they talk pony pundits. I'm a little bit out of breath, Carm. I just rode 13 kilometers. I think that might be about 9 miles in 30 minutes on the Peloton. Oh, I need a break just from this show.
I've seen some of my friends post Peloton videos on Facebook, and they're like 5-minute segment clips or whatever. But if you're doing that for 30 minutes, God bless you, man. There is no way I would even get through half of that.
Yeah. Well, next week I'm going to be doing 45 minutes. Lottery Guru 7, thank you so much, my friend. How are you, Laguina? Welcome to the show. We missed you this week. Hope everybody is doing well. Really a big day in the COVID-19 saga. You know, I mean, I guess the governor of Georgia has decided to be the guinea pig. So let's wish him and Georgia the best of luck. We hope it works, and we hope the rest of the world follows. But thank God where I lived hasn't decided to be the guinea pig. I would hate to be the guinea pig in this situation, Nick.
Yeah, it's, a part of you, obviously, we all want to get back to sports and life as we know it. Who's willing to take the risk, right? It's just like any other bet.
Well, clearly the governor of Atlanta is. Hey, T. Cole, welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it. Guys, if you've got any questions for the boys, we're talking soccer. We're getting straight into it. 2 games this weekend in the Nicaraguan Soccer League. We're going to talk about those first. Then we'll talk a little Belarus, and then we'll do a run-through on what's going on all over the world in soccer. How are you, Elliot? Thanks for logging in. Nick, I'll go to you first. The D team versus Esteli. Lines weren't out when I last checked. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about in regards to the Nicaraguan Soccer League. So I hand it to you, my expert friend.
Well, the lines are out now, and they're not what I wanted to see. Both games are set as pick'ems, no line either way, and the total is set at 2 on both games. So I was looking at unders, especially in this first game with Esteli, as these two teams really tend to play each other very tight. And over the years, they've played to a lot of unders. But 2 is a number Carm and I always talk about as being a difficult total to get in on because it's a likely push a lot of the times, and you hate to give out a play that's just going to ultimately end up pushing. The side right now is juiced big time to Diriangan, so they may end up laying a quarter of a goal here sooner rather than later. I don't see it coming out yet. Most are holding it at around minus 140, minus 145 at the +0 pick'em price. So right now, it's hard. I'm going to wait and see what these lines do. If a 2.25 pops out, I don't know if it will, but if a 2.25 does pop out, I'm definitely going to look under. That's my lean right now. And on the side, I honestly can't really make a decision right now. You'd have to argue to take any goals. These teams are very, very evenly matched. So you'd have to argue to take any goals if it popped out either way, which looks like it would on Esteli the way it's priced right now. We've talked, Carm and I, at least on our videos before, have talked about these two-legged affairs and making sure, bettors kind of understand what that means. So there's 2 games, involved here to see who's going to advance. They play first here in Diriangan, then they go to Esteli, which those games are on Saturday. So it's the 2-leg aggregate score to determine who moves on. So that means we're playing not 90 minutes, but 180 minutes to determine the winner. So the first 90 minutes tends to be slower paced, a little more, less risk-oriented, as teams don't want to take chances. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they don't have much to play for in the second game because they're so far behind. So usually you see slower paced and lower scoring games in these first ones, and I think that's why we see these lines. So, normally we talk about the Champions League in these 2-leg affairs, not the Nicaraguan playoffs, but here we are. It's hard right now at this number in this game. I like the under, and I like catching plus goals. Right now we're not seeing either one, so I'm kind of stuck. I think waiting a little bit, we'll see where it moves and maybe reassess.
He's Nick Boorman. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. Hey, Matt Dodge, welcome to the show. Great freaking name, brother. Carm, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, to echo Nick's sentiment, when we're talking about, obviously we're talking about Nicaraguan soccer here, but when we're talking about Champions League or Europa League knockout stages where they're 2-leg affairs, nobody wants to lose the tie. These are called ties. Nobody wants to lose the tie in the first game, essentially. So nobody wants to head to leg 2 in a spot where they've got to push, they need to score, they need a couple goals. So you tend to see a lower scoring game with these 2, and the totals are where they should be for these. They should be at 2. We talked on the last show about Dirigen at home against they're on a good roll at home, and they won again. They won 1-0. I think they were laying a goal in that game, if memory serves me correctly, and they've really only lost. They lost their first game of the season at home, and they've run off looks like 8. 9 unbeaten in 9, 8 wins and a draw, and they've only allowed 2 goals in those 9 games. So that tells you about the type of team that they are at home. One of the things I mentioned before with both the visiting teams today, Esteli and Managua, who won the league title or on points, is that the teams that got a first round bye in the last 4 Clausura playoffs have gone on to meet in the finals. So obviously there's an advantage to playing at home in that second game. It's always an advantage. If there is one team that can sort of break that streak of 4 straight with the top 2 teams meeting in the finals, it is Dirigen, mainly for the fact that I think they're good enough to get a win at home and head to Esteli and play. They beat them 2-0 earlier in the year. The 2 games this year finished 2-0 at home for Dirigen, and then they drew 0-0, I believe, in the second game. And in the standings, they essentially finished tied for second spot at 34 points each. Esteli got the first round bye based on goal differential. They scored 29 while allowing 11. Dirigen scored 22 while allowing 11. So it's one of those things. I think I'm not really sure. Like, we'll see a quarter goal. It would be nice to see a quarter goal, but I think it's going to just remain juiced at a pick 'em on that two-way line. But when you're looking at the plus money for all of these teams are plus money on the three-way line. So it's if you have a stance on who you like on both games, that's one of the ones where you can parlay it and you can make some extra money if you hit both. You're a winner. Obviously, just make it a small percentage bet. But I'm going to go with Dirigen here to get the win at home. And if I see a price on them to advance to the finals, I'm going to take that as well too. I think of the two underdogs in this two-legged ties, they're the one most likely to pull off the upset.
Carmine Bianco, the most loquacious soccer handicapper on the planet. Pablo R., thanks for joining us, my friend, and a shout-out from Toronto. I hope you're enjoying Costa Rica. I've been there a couple of times. It's an absolutely magnificent country with spectacular people, great food, great beaches, great lifestyle. I am jealous, brother. Guys, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to talk a little bit more soccer. Make sure, guys, to like us, subscribe to our channel, and click the button so you know when our live shows are going up. Carmine Bianco, we'll go to you first. Walter and the Ferrettis are playing against Managua. I'm not even going to waste my breath. I know nothing. Go ahead.
It's all good, Prez.
Hey, I know the big leagues. Show. How the hell am I supposed to know Nicaraguan soccer? I mean, seriously.
True.
No, it's the situation we're in. But I have to say, I didn't mention it to you after the show. You had a very good show on Wednesday. I was quite impressed with your hosting skills. So
thank you.
You're always very good with the other ones, but taking on soccer, and even though you're a soccer fan, sometimes could be a little daunting.
Well, especially when we're talking about teams I can't pronounce in countries I've never been to, in leagues I don't know anything about.
Yeah,
with players I've never heard of.
Yeah, and you never will once COVID is over, I'm sure. But I believe to a point, it might be something that Nick and I, in the future, even when soccer returns, there is some interest in, because these games are played at night in Nicaraguan soccer, and we may continue to release cards or free plays or what have you. As far as this game goes with, Walter Ferretti and Managua FC, these two teams last season, or in the Apertura, which was the last championship, because they had two championships within a year, these two met in the playoffs, and it was a barn burner. The first game finished 2-2. The second game also finished tied at 2 through extra time, and they went to penalty kicks before Managua ended up winning, I think, 5-3 on penalty kicks, and then went on to play in the final. So do we see the same amount of goals in this one? I don't think so. Both games in this season's Clausura finished 1-0. And again, that's where the total is at. It's at 2. I tend to think that Managua are likely to win this, not only this game, but I think they win both games. So I believe they score here. You can get them at about 160 right now at some books. I think that'll drop to about 140, maybe even 135. I'm likely to back them here. I don't think we're going to see a quarter goal on either side. You literally have to see a line drop to about, I think, plus 120 before you see that quarter goal show up.
Nick, before we get into your thoughts, I just want to point out that you guys can't see me, but I've got the Lonnie Flash going right now. I shaved yesterday, so I got handlebars and lamb chops. They will be gone by Monday, but that's what happens when you're at home bored. You end up just playing around with your damn facial hair. Nick, you promised that we would get to meet your wife today.
Was that today?
Yeah, dude.
She's gone.
Nick.
She had to take a pediatrician appointment.
Okay, fair. Well, we just wanted to meet her, see who you hang with.
Next week we got
Okay,
it.
brother. What do you like in this game? Is it the Ferrettis or the Managuans?
I would agree on the two-leg tie with Carm here. I think Managua has shown the better conviction over the season. They've definitely been steadier throughout the campaign. They are atop the league for a good reason, and they're unbeaten. They're on a run of 12 games. I
have no idea.
It's 12 games unbeaten right now. So they're tough to beat. These teams actually did just play each other in the last game of the season. It really didn't matter a ton. I mean, there was an outside hope if Ferretti won and both Diriangan and Estelli lost that they could have jumped into the number 2 spot and avoided that first game. But really, Managua was locked up. So I'm not putting too much into that last game, which Managua won. But that being said, they just seem like a team that's they're really hard to beat this year. Right now, Carr mentioned trying to take them on the three-way line to win at plus 160, plus 150, maybe probably drop down, as he said, before game time. You could play it safer as well, although you're going to have to lay a little bit. They're minus 135, maybe minus 140 on the two-way line, which would mean if they push in this game or draw, if they draw in this game, it would just be a push on the wager. So that's another way to look at them, but I agree. I think Managua on the side is the only way to play it. I'm not as comfortable on the total as I was looking for the under in the other game here at 2. So I'm going to stay away from that, but I agree with Carm. I think Managua, I think you can play it either way depending on your level of what your risk reward is going to be as far as the two-way versus three-way line. But I like Managua. I think they advance here. I think they'll be in the final, and I think they have a good chance to win this game on the road. But I do like the added protection with the draw being graded as a push. So I like them on the two-way line here, and I think it's okay right now where it is to lay the little bit of juice to get them there. But if that thing crests over minus 150, I would probably just go ahead and take what Carm had mentioned on the three-way and try to catch them to win at plus 130, plus 140, wherever it is at that time. But I'm in agreement, Carm. Let's get them. Managua in this.
Go Managua. Matt Dodge has a
Warren,
question, Carm. Sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, you actually.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm called the host, so Carm. Like I host the shows.
I can finally see.
I don't need your help, Carm.
I can see your stats.
Are you drinking wine, Nick?
That is just rum. No, it's just rum.
It's 1:18 in the afternoon.
Iced tea, all right? It's iced tea.
Iced tea, man. Sweetened or non?
Unsweet, the only way.
Okay, I don't like iced tea.
Oh, God.
Anyway, Matt Dodge asks a question, Carm. What's the difference between taking a team on the money line versus minus a half? And he writes for a book that does three-way betting. So I'm a bit confused by that question, but you go ahead.
No, I get it. Essentially, when we're talking like money line, what we're actually talking about is the three-way line. So with the three-way betting line, where you can take either the home team, the away team, or the draw. If you're taking the home or away team on the three-way line, you are laying half a goal. So it's easier just to say we're taking the team on the money line, which is the three-way betting line, as opposed to saying we're taking the team minus a half plus 160, let's say. So that's essentially what it is. When we talk about the two-way betting line, the two-way betting line removes the draw from the equation. So and that's for anything other than a pick. If a game is a pick 'em on the two-way line and it ends in a draw, your wager pushes. If you're taking plus a half or you're laying minus a half and the game ends in a draw, it's a win on whichever side you're on. If you're on, obviously, minus a half, you lose. If you're on plus a half, a draw helps you on the two-way line.
Guys, I've got some big breaking news. Wagertalk just recently reached out to both Lionel and Cristiano Ronaldo. We're hoping that they will be joining the show on Wednesday. So I'm not going to tweet out. I'm not going to tell you guys. Just Make sure to check out the 1 p.m. show Wednesday with Carmine Bianco and Nick Boorman. We are really hoping to hear back from Messi and Ronaldo. We're hoping to have them on the show. So make sure to check out if that does happen. Carm, you're gonna reach Buffoon, right?
That's Buffon. But
GG.
I have a bottle of. I had someone for my my wedding down in the Bahamas at Atlantis. Our maid of honor traveled from Italy, where she lives, and brought me a bottle of Buffon's wine. You can't buy it here, but she had it bubble wrapped and she brought it back. And I'm probably going to uncork that bottle next Thursday, because next Thursday will be my wedding anniversary. So I'm going to cook some dinner and break open that bottle of Buffon wine.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that hopefully with Messi and Ronaldo on Wednesday's Stoppage Time. So check us out. Okay, guys, let's go. We got a little bit more to talk about. Belarus, Carmine, what's happening in that league? Again, I know nothing.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to volley this one to Nick. I haven't been playing much of the Belarusian league. Nick has. I think he started the day with a winner today. So congrats on that, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to volley this one to Nick.
All right. You're right. I did. I hit Dynamo Minsk already today as an early winner. So one thing I'll say to the listeners is, if you bet soccer, it really feeds all of our degenerate sides, because you're betting games in the AM time frame. So keep that in mind for what it's worth. But as far as Belarus, I think a lot of the action that we're going to see and stuff we're going to talk about going forward, at least for the next few weeks, is going to have to shift here. Obviously, Nicaragua is about to wrap up. Belarus is in. This is now week 6. So I do have a free play up this week. The game is on Sunday. The team I'm backing is Slutsk. That's a K at the end of Sluts.
We all know that team.
I had to make sure we heard that on the voice, so we didn't get anybody questioning that. But similar to today's game, Slutsk is a team that's playing one of the promoted sides, Belshina. Both Belshina and Smolvici, who played today, they really just look out of place so far in the upper tier. I'm honestly a little bit surprised to see as much separation from the teams that are traditionally in the top league from the teams that are kind of filtering between the lower league and this league. But there really does seem to be a good amount of separation in terms of talent between these sides. And I think that's what we got here. Slutsk is off to a good start. They're 3-1-1. They won last week on the road against Shakhtar, who finished number 3 last year, had an awesome year, and they look really good again this year. So to win on the road there was impressive. And they're doubling up Belshina right now in shots on goal per game. So the numbers behind the results are in their favor right now as well. They're up to minus 140 right now. I did release it. It was minus 130. But as long as it stays on 50, I think it's good to play. And if you'd rather feel safer, you can take them on the Asian handicap line, which is minus a half or minus 1 or minus 0.75, as I like to say. And then that way, if they only win by a goal, you just win half your bet. But I still think they're going to win this game. They're at home. Belshina, as I mentioned, is just not off to a good start. They really look like they're struggling to score. They're barely getting any shots up on target. So I like Slutsk in this game in Belarus. And overall, if you've been watching this league, there was a lot of opportunity on totals early. Everything was opening up at 2.5, and there were just unders galore. Right now, everything's now coming out at 2s. When these lines first came out this week, every single game, all 9 games, were at 2. So then they start to move a little bit. So the totals have become a little bit more difficult, but I'll try to find the advantage, I guess, when we see the totals. But right now, I like Slutsk on this game Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. So stay in bed, wake up to a winner, or get up early, grab your coffee, and catch hopefully we can get a winner for everybody listening.
I'm going to choose to stay in bed. Carmine, what's going on with the major leagues? And then we'll get out of this show, and we're taping Rock, Paper, Scissors World Championship in 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Well, Well, as it stands right now, and we'll know this next week, of course, on the 30th, the German government will announce what they're doing with regards to whether the Bundesliga can restart. But it looks like it's all horses forward, for probably lack of a better phrase. And we're probably going to see the Bundesliga return. They're practicing right now while still doing social distancing, but they are practicing, the players. And it looks like we're going to see soccer back on the 16th of May. I think that's the date that they're aiming for. The 9th, I think, is unrealistic. 16th looks a little more realistic. And then I think the other leagues, it's kind of like that. We're going full circle, the whole guinea pig thing with Georgia. If it works for Germany, some of the other leagues may start to follow, and closed stadiums. You have to remember, they're closed stadiums, no fans, but there still are about 300 to 400 people within that stadium. That everything from technical staff to VAR to security that makes this sort of this game run. So there still are people there. You can't let fans in. But if you get these games on TV, it kind of gives us a little bit of a respite, I think it is, or a little bit of hope. Or Prez, you're much better with these words, so you can let me know. But once sports starts to return, I know the world is what's going on right now is terrible. But we're watching. You guys are watching this show because you're sports fans, so this is why we're talking sports. Once it starts to come back, and baseball comes back, and hockey comes back, and NFL starts. It's going to make us, it's going to occupy our minds just a little bit more than those news channels that are ultimately depressing.
That's it, my boys. Let's call it a show. I got nothing to add. Outstanding job. It's a privilege to do this with both of you. We're going to be doing stoppage time from here on in, COVID or no COVID. So I'm excited about that. And, I wish you all an incredible weekend. I hope that you stay safe, keep social distancing, and make sure at 3 p.m. Eastern to check out Marco and Sig, the Pony Pundits. We're talking horses and more horses. Guys, subscribe to our channel. Click the button so you get updated on when our shows go live. And make sure to like our shows. You're all the best. I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your day to spend some of your time with us. Be well, everybody, and we'll see you for Meet the Experts on Monday with Drew Martin and Kyle Anthony. So, yes, it'll be a full-on man crush fest for the Prez. Later, boys.
See you, Carm.
Take care, guys, and good luck.